I am so honored to be here. It's always exciting to come out and talk to people who want to work in the field of local government. Now, I'm not sure where the psychology department is, but because doing this job is not easy. It never has been, and it probably never will be. But I think if you are here, you want to be in local government. You want to help communities. You want to be able to serve the public in a professional manner to help them grow, to help them balance their budgets, to plan and work with developers to develop new communities, new neighborhoods, connect neighborhoods through trails, help them with their water and sewer. We're working on a sewer project. Never thought in a million years sewage would be one of my favorite topics, but it is, trust me. Not dinner time topic, so I apologize. But no, taking a neighborhood that has been around for 50 years, that was built with on-lot septic systems and wells, very common in Pennsylvania, even in Bucks County, an hour from the city, and here we are. Sometimes I feel like living in a third world country because they don't have public water and sewer in areas. They felt it would bring development, which, well, it came anyway. And 50, 60 years later, their septic systems are failing. The state EPA has put down our MS4 stormwater management, and lo and behold, the outfalls from this older neighborhood of 250 homes has the highest level of fecal coliform going into the stream, and we embark on a sewer project. And of course, the residents are in the meetings, and that's another thing you have to deal with as a city manager of large crowds, dealing with the public, making sure your board has all the information, your volunteers are there who've been kind of working on the projects. And lo and behold, now we're to the point where DEP comes down and says, yeah, you really need to sewer this area. And so we are working with 250 residents to bring public sewer to their neighborhood, looking to see public water. Across the line in the street, I have all the data. We can go back to 1998. I have photos of their raw sewage in their ground, in their backyards. I know. And no, we can't do it. We implemented a septic management program where they have to pump and report it once every 3 years, hoping they would be able to avoid that, not have to do it. It would improve it. Well, fast forward to 2008, still not good, still 25% failure rate, just kind of getting worse. Now, then we have the MS4 program. We do the outfall testing, and lo and behold, the highest levels of fecal coliform. And they're telling me, they're coming to meetings and they're saying, it's the geese. It's the geese. Okay. It's the dogs, the geese, whatever. It's not our septic systems. Well, lo and behold, you can DNA test this stuff. So what do? We spend the $500. We have that big test done, and it comes back that it's human. And lo and behold, that was it. That was the kind of stamp on the seal of the thing, and we are now, they're out there, the road's being dug up. We're putting in the sewer lines with the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. If their system is still working, they won't have to hook up. But, these are going to turn over. They're going to, in order to get a mortgage, they're probably going to have to hook up. But it's good for the community. But those are big, meaty projects. Those are the things we grapple with. But I guess I start off with is, how do you get into all this? How does that happen? And I think there's three topics that when I look at, how did I get into this crazy profession that I love more than anything else? And I think I have to say, there's mentors, that there's someone out there who inspired you, someone you met along the way, who inspired you to pursue this profession. And, show of hands, any who has mentors? Anybody had them? Okay, cool. Everybody's had it? You're pointing to Steph, that's good. Mentors, I think, are wonderful people. They're people who will take you under their wings. They will guide you. They will inspire you to do that. I was fortunate. I had a wonderful mentor. And other people, I think, are coaches. People who can coach you while you're in the thick of things. Who here played on a team along the way? Which team? What kind? Lacrosse. Basketball. Basketball. Okay, I was a synchronized swimmer. Yes, I was, believe it or not, in high school. First championship team since in like 1980 to bring home a state championship to our school.
All right.
In synchronized swimming, yes. I mean, there's a sign on the highway when you come into the town in Michigan. I kid you not. Like, I know. It's great. It's wonderful. And last is that team. What team are you on? Why do you want to be on that team? Who's on your team with you? Who's supporting you? What are they, looking at? So when I talk about a mentor, it's that person who's going to help you grow. It's going to inspire you to be a part of your life. My mentors was Mark Wallenweber was my first mentor as manager in Huntington Woods, Michigan. I worked with him not once but twice when I was in undergrad and in graduate school. I had wonderful opportunity to work with him. And to this day, we stay in touch. So where was that? I was at Michigan State University. And actually, I'll take a step back. At 15, I went to New York City. My sister was living there, and we walked around the city, and I thought, there's garbage on the street. There's homeless people. Somebody's got to do something about this. This is not right. I could do this. This is what I could do. I could run New York City. I thought it was a really good idea at 15. But lo and behold, I got smart. I went to college. I went to Michigan State. I went to the James Madison College, residential college, public policy. And I learned about urban policy, and I learned about local government. And I had the opportunity to intern in Huntington Woods, Michigan. It's a town where my sister lived. And Mark Wallenweber was the manager there. And he was involved with ICMA. I'd never heard of ICMA. Went back to college, found in the library stacks, found the green books. Who here remembers the green books? Larry, Ron, like green books. They were the Bibles. They, helped you in anything you needed to know about local government. And it was like, I wanted to do this. I wanted to work in a city. And so I went to graduate school. I went to the University of Pittsburgh, to GISPIA, and was able to get a degree and get my MPA, get my specialty in city management, and had the opportunities to work with municipalities in the Pittsburgh area, and came back, had to do my internship thesis paper and everything. And where did I do it? I did it in Huntington Woods. I worked on a citizen satisfaction survey. And to this day, we're still using surveys in our community, find out how we're doing communication-wise, things like that. But it truly is, what you can do to reach out to your citizens. It's a scary thing. How are we doing? Are we and one of the things I love, and I'm sure many of my colleagues here would say, you're putting out all this information, especially today, social media, Facebook, Twitter, your website, we have a government access channel. We're constantly putting it. We have a newsletter that goes out 3 times a year. We put, we'll send things to the newspaper to put ads in the paper and articles or whatever, press releases. So tell me, when I see you and go, how did you not know that we were having a big visioning session about our park and recreation indoor space? How did you not know that we were doing that? It amazes me. How did you not know that there were sewers going in a neighborhood with 250 people that has been out there for 3 years? And I'm like, we communicated this. We put this out there. And sometimes I just feel like I'm yelling down a well and nobody's there. I'm shouting from a mountaintop and nobody hears. And if someone can figure out why, I would love it. Because it's like, is everybody just too busy? And we actually sat down with a small group of residents with one of our elected officials to really find out, why. Well, one of the things I found out, which was kind of disappointing, is we surround, Doylestown Township is about 15.5 square miles, about 18,000 people, and we surround Doylestown Borough. It's like a hug, I like to say. We surround John and his community. I actually live in the community. If you walk across the street, you're in the township, back and forth, that kind of thing. But we surround, and everybody knows Doylestown Borough. It's quaint, it's adorable, historic homes, wonderful downtown, great restaurants, great bars. Everybody wants to be there. So we're working on that, making sure that we're doing, that we also stand out, that people know the difference. We're trying to make sure that they know they're in the township. You know, we've kind of said we're the community of Doylestown, and we do so much with the borough. We've built 30 miles of trail with the borough in the township. They have, you know, sharrows on their streets, and they have trails that connect our trails, and we're connecting with trails in New Britain Borough and Township and our communities to the east and west and south of us. We're working on that together to make our communities more walkable, to work together, and, you know, but still everybody thinks they live in Doylestown. And even if they have a Warrington mailing address, they still think they live in Doylestown. But it's cool. And it's one of the things that, you know, I think does. So coaching. I think coaches are really important. Like I said, I did synchronized swimming. My coach was Marlene Rex. It was high school synchronized swim team, as I said. And what I learned there, I think the most important thing I learned was that people needed you. You needed to be relied upon to be part of the team. You needed to do that. And to this day, I rely on my coaches to be my colleagues. You know, I'm very fortunate. I have a group of women who are very supportive, who I consider a coach. When I have a problem, I'll reach out to them. Hey, have you dealt with this? And, you know, I think as a coach, they know that, you know the answer. You know, there's no doubt about it. You know it. You're just kind of buried under all the stuff and all the voices that are coming at you and everything. And you got to talk to somebody. I mean, top athletes use coaches. The president of ICMA, Karen Pinkos, has coaches. So you don't get to be a city manager of big cities, small towns, whatever, without having coaches, without having people that you can depend on and work with. So, you know, my coaching started early on in high school, you know, that I needed to be accountable. I needed to be part of a team and to be dependable. But my coaches today, one of your teachers, Steph Tioli, Cools is here, is a coach. I mean, we call each other all the time. And sometimes, you know, I mean, we're friends, we're colleagues, but in essence, and you don't think about some of these words, mentors, coaches, you go through life and these things happen and you're just kind of going through it, you know? You don't think that your friend is also your coach. You don't necessarily think that your boss is your coach or your mentor until someone takes the moment and says, hey, have you heard this word coach, mentor? You know, what is that? What, you know, who is that? What, and puts a word to it as to who that person is and how they can inspire you, how they can help you, how they can depend on you, you can depend on them to be there. And I think that is so important in why coaches, you know, can be truly uplifting. And I think the biggest thing about it is you can't be afraid to reach out. I mean, and one of the things, it's kind of a two-way street. One, if you know you're struggling with something, an issue, don't be afraid to reach out to a colleague, to a fellow student, to a teacher, to someone, and they can coach you through it, you know. And the other thing for us who don't realize that we are coaches is sometimes when we see that person struggling is we have to remember to pick up the phone too and try to reach out and send an email and check in. Hey, read something in the newspaper. How's it going? Are you okay? I think that's very important because there's always tough issues. You're in the fishbowl, as they say, and it's not easy. You know, it's not easy, and so you have to depend on the people for your coaches. But the other thing is what are your teams? What team are you on? And when I started thinking about that, I started to realize I'm on a bunch of teams, call them teams, when I think about it. But I mean, first and foremost is the family and friends team, which are usually the people you go to, but sometimes they don't understand kind of what you do. They don't understand the aspects of local government. They're not in it. They might be doctors, lawyers, teachers, business people, and they don't understand it. So that's when you have to reach out. You have your work team, Doylestown Township, my team, and those are people I can depend on. People I've been there almost 33 years. I was very, very young when I started. I was about 18. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm not sure if I should say I've been there 33 years, or a lot of us now have noticed a few of my staff members who've also been there like over 25, 30 years, a little grayer than we want to be, kind of say, how long have you been with Township? Oh, I've been a little over 20 years. We're pulling back on yeah, because I remember the 1987 when we came, But, on the other hand, I want to say I'm proud of it. I'm proud to have been at one place as the assistant township manager and as the manager for, 20 years in the spring. Or actually January, it'll be 20 years just since that. I'm on a team for the Delaware Valley Health Trust, an organization that was founded 20 years ago that helps us with our health care. We work on cost containment. We work on ways to incentivize our employees. Back in the day, 20 years ago, healthcare was just out of control. From Blue Cross Blue Shield, you were getting 40% increases in your bills. And it was like, what are we going to do? And the managers got together. And that was the amazing part. I mean, it was a group of managers who embarked on an idea that we could help ourselves because the insurance companies weren't helping us, and we could help ourselves. And that's what we've done. We've built a very healthy rate stabilization fund. We've worked with municipalities to develop plans, and we didn't have the shoebox plan that you have to fit into. We worked with them to figure out what plans they needed. And I mean, the cool thing about the trust is they worked in the area of liability as well as workers' comp and have saved the day. I remember the day we were with, I think it was Reliance, and got a letter. It's like, yeah, you no longer have workers' comp. You need to go someplace else. Like, oh, okay. Thank God the trust was there. It had already been formed. So again, working with colleagues, working with teams to bring people together to help communities save costs, and help each other. I mean, that's what it's really all about. That's what we want to do in local government service. The Bucks County Consortium of Municipalities, another great team. Montgomery has one, Delaware, Chester, I believe, also have them. And they're a group of managers who get together on a monthly basis. We do joint purchasing. We bring in speakers to help us. Maybe it's somebody about the census coming up for 2020. Maybe it's somebody from the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission to talk about long-term planning. Maybe it's someone from something going on. Just had a really good one in Bucks, the last meeting. Well, today was stormwater. I heard it was fabulous. But we had one kind of on the scary side, but it happens. Good topic. Great program on financial crimes that happen in your own municipality. I mean, with cybersecurity and all of that, it's so important to be up on that and be aware of it and how it impacts your community, and fishing expeditions and all of that can happen. And unfortunately, people think they can get away with stealing from the government, and that can't happen. And so they did a really good program, and it's all about education. It's about working together to make sure that we're up on what's happening in the county, what we can do on a daily basis to help our communities. APMM, the Association of Pennsylvania Municipal Management. Very fortunate to be a part of that organization, to have served as a past president of that organization. Because now you've taken your world and you've gone from your host municipality where you're working to your county, to your state. And you realize that you have colleagues that are doing what you're doing, but they're on the western side of the state or they're in the middle. But you find out that they're doing some amazing things. The manager up in Ferguson Township, we refer to him all the time, and our EAC, our Environmental Advisory Council in our township, started talking about getting ready for 100 and how we can make our carbon footprint smaller and all of this. And it's like, oh, the manager up, I'm like, Dave Perlick, I know him. We work. I'm like, really? He's doing, and it's amazing to find out, even out in other parts of the community, Pennsylvania, people are doing great things, and you've got that team. You can call on them anytime and find out, hey, somebody's doing this. My community's interested in doing it. Send me your information. Don't reinvent the wheel. Share it. And that's what we do. We're there to help. That's that team mentality that we continue to share with one another. And the last team I want to talk about is ICMA. I have had the privilege of serving the last 3 years. In Nashville, I come off the board. And it has been an experience beyond belief to work with people now, going from your community and great people on your team there, to your county, to your state, and now you're dealing with the world. And I have met people and managers from the Netherlands, worked with them on the executive board from New Zealand, from 2 parts of Canada, from California, from Arizona, from Massachusetts down to Florida, and Kansas, Missouri. I mean, literally from all over. And it has been an experience. And I think the one thing about ICMA, and who here has been able to go to an ICMA conference? Student, okay. When you have that opportunity, take advantage of it. The first conference I went to, I was actually in graduate school. I was interning in Michigan with Mark Wallenweber, who was involved with ICMA. He was actually in the Michigan Municipal Management Association at the time. And he was coordinating the Michigan dinner at the conference. So for those who haven't been to a conference, Monday night is designated to state association dinners. It's time for student, former college, student chapters to kind of get together from universities. The Jayhawks always have a huge dinner on Monday night. Pennsylvania has a dinner, Michigan. So where was the conference going to be? It was going to be in Philadelphia. 1984, the Philadelphia conference. And he needed a place to have dinner. And who did he give that assignment to? The intern. And so that was me. And I was like, okay, I know nothing about Philadelphia. I don't recall being in Philadelphia. I have to find a restaurant for, 50, 60 people to go that's going to wow them, right? Because I was going to get to come to the dinner. And so everybody, to have this opportunity to meet all these Michigan managers. And luckily, my sister had been doing business and had been coming to Philadelphia. So I immediately picked up the phone and said, who do you know? What do you recommend? So she got back to me and said, the Moshelu, the schooner that's in the, in the river on the Delaware. And of course it all went well and, coordinated all the who was going to have what and all that. But it was great. I mean, it was an opportunity to come to Philadelphia. Got to take some time from school. I drove from Pittsburgh and attend the conference. And it was amazing to be there, to see phenomenal speakers, to see people with badges. And I remember getting on an elevator in, the convention center or the hotel somewhere. And I glance over and it's like, oh, they're from ICMA too. And I'm looking at his badge, I'm like, oh my God. He's the manager of Tel Aviv. He's from Israel. He came all the way to Philadelphia for a conference? They have city managers in Tel Aviv? I mean, it like all of a sudden you realize, you know, there is this network of people across the world. And ICMA is amazing with what's going on with the coaching program, with the student chapter program, with the China Center, with everything that we're doing is, you know, just absolutely phenomenal. We've just embarked, we've spent the entire 2 years, the executive board, working on our inclusivity and diversity programs. The most recent article in the magazine, we're going to be talking about it more at the conference, but we're going to be making 3 major changes to the bylaws. They'll be going out for votes probably next year after the conference, but it's going to expand how we are able to reach our membership and how we can encourage managers who are, you know, not the affiliates and the membership and full members, and we're going to be changing that. We're going to open up opportunities in terms of voting because we've opened up, we've expanded. We have 12,000 members, and not everybody can vote. And so we're going to open those things up. We're going to open up service on the executive board. And we are going to look at the dues issue for those managers who are concerned about dues. That will be the new incoming board will take up a lot of those issues. They're going to have to work on those things. But the thing is that there is this team that's out there that you can be part of. You have your teams. You know, this right here, Villanova Student Chapter is a team. You depend on each other. You support each other. You have coaches within this team. You have mentors within this team. And maybe nobody put the words and labels on everybody, but you do. And if you take a step back, you realize that they're there. And you just have to take advantage of it. So I put up some websites for APMM, for ICMA. You know, take advantage of them. Having things like this is phenomenal. Thank you, Ms. Welk. I'm so impressed that you have supported this. This is fantastic. And do more of this. Communicate, reach out, and enjoy each other's company and learn from each other. This is what it's about, because sometimes when you're in local government and you're going through a tough issue and you're not sure what's happening, it can seem really, really lonely, you know, and what's going to happen. So knowing that you have teams, knowing that you can reach out to people on your team and you can talk to them, you can reach out to a coach, you can reach out to a mentor, because you know what you know. You sometimes just have to be reminded.